My name is Damon Yarnell. I am Associate Provost and Executive Director of Dickinson Center for Advising, Internships, and Lifelong Career Development. I am joined today by my good colleagues. For now, I'm just going to ask them to wave, to say hello, and they'll get a chance to introduce themselves later as we move forward. I think you, as a viewer, actually have control of how we appear on your screen. On my screen, and showing my age, we look a little bit like the Brady Bunch, but you can decide how to manipulate our squares as the presentation progresses. So we have 4 main takeaway points for you today. Tara, if you could please advance the slides. We have 4 main points that we'd like you to take away from our presentation. The first is that our mission, our purpose as a team, is to help you discover and pursue what we call your authentic interests. And we'll say more about what we mean by authentic interests today in our presentation and as we work with you moving forward. But for now, I'll just say that an important component of authentic interests is being able to explain why as well as what. Not only being able to answer the question what you're doing, but being able to answer the question why you've decided that you want to do what you're doing. Our second takeaway point is that making a career is complicated. And I will say that in 2020, it's more complicated than ever. Career development is more complex, more technical every year. And what we do today is far more sophisticated than what we did 10 or 20 years ago. And because making a career can seem complicated, our staff, and collectively we have many, many, many decades of experience in academic and career advising, so many decades that it's a little bit embarrassing to actually count up the years. We've distilled a program that breaks down this very complicated process into simple, actionable steps through year-by-year pathways. And we'll say more about our pathways later. And as you work with us over time, you'll work directly with a year-by-year pathway to develop a career action plan. Our third takeaway point is that what we teach is a social process. And that's true if you decide to work with us individually. What we do is social, we'll be working together. But what we especially encourage is that whenever possible, you as students participate in group workshops, group programming, cohort opportunities. And the reason that we really strongly recommend that you embrace our social approach is that you will, number one, learn as much from one another as you will from us over time. Our program really emphasizes peer-to-peer learning, and you'll miss out if you choose only to work with us one-on-one. It's also more fun. A second important reason that we emphasize the social process of career development is that even if you were to choose to work with us only one-on-one, when it's time to launch, you will encounter a social process of career launch. And once you enter the wider world, no matter what you decide to do, you will absolutely be working with others, with teams of people. Professors, some of our professors have the last remaining solitary professions, but even they work together in teams. There's just no career that's completely solitary. And so we just encourage you to be to work with us as a team, and we are a team, and also to work with one another, and to over time get comfortable being open about your interests and your plans, no matter what their state of development. And our fourth takeaway is that there's a spaceship on this slide. And we've overthought, or at least I have, this symbol, the spaceship symbol. So why is there a spaceship on this slide? There's a spaceship because our collective goal is that no matter what goals you decide to pursue, and also because our team is keenly oriented towards the future. We don't only want to help you find your first internship or a great summer job or an excellent campus opportunity. We are actually preparing you not only for your first job, but your second and your fifth. And you as a generation are going to have more career stops, and I would call them more career opportunities, than probably any generation in history. So we're really forward thinking and future oriented. And the last reason that I put a spaceship on this slide is to emphasize the technical dimension of what it is that our team does and our team approach. You'll hear that we call ourselves launch technicians, and we work as a team. So you can imagine our team in mission control. I've got a goofy headset on. And collectively, we are processing an enormous amount of information from the outside world about trends in the job market, in the demand for skills today and the projected demand for skills for tomorrow, about how to maximize the value and impact of your education at Dickinson, and information from you. You'll find, including today, that we always ask students for feedback. And by attending to this feedback and by very carefully measuring how effectively we're able to teach you the skills that you need, we improve what we do. So we're processing an enormous amount of information, and we're doing that as a team in order to position you to control your own launch. I told you I overthought that spaceship. Okay, so next slide, please. So we may have a spaceship on the last slide, but it's important to know that your path of career development will almost certainly not be completely linear. Instead, you're going to change, your interests and priorities will change, the outside world will change, new opportunities will emerge that don't exist today. And the decisions that you make today may not be the decisions that you choose to make tomorrow. And so for that reason, the expectation of a linear career is going to meet the reality of a less than linear career. And that's why on the last slide, I had a spaceship and not a rocket, right? You're going to need the agility to maneuver and steer and make numerous course corrections. So at this point, I'm going to turn things over to my good colleague, Annie. Is that right, Annie? No, Tara. Tara, I'm going to turn things over to my good colleague, Tara, to guide us through the next part of our presentation. So again, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tara Fisher. I'm the Dean of Advising here at Dickinson, and I'm really excited to get the opportunity to continue working with you. In 2018, Dickinson combined the Office of Academic Advising and our Career Center to establish this new center, the Center for Advising, Internships, and Lifelong Career Development. On the surface level, the goals of our center seem straightforward, but to our knowledge, what we are doing here is very distinctive among liberal arts colleges and really among colleges in general. So we're excited to share this, this kind of experience that is right ahead of you with you now. Our mission is, as Dean Yarnell said, is to help students define and pursue authentic interest inside and outside of the classroom. on campus and in the wider world, and before and after you graduate. Beneath the surface, however, there are some pretty complex issues there, not least, what's the relationship between Dickinson education in the liberal arts and sciences and your future career? From decades of experience, our staff knows that your programs of study don't determine your future career options, but instead, our Dickinson graduates can and do launch into literally almost any field that they want to from any major. Nevertheless, we take your academic decisions very, very seriously, including from a career perspective. Instead of telling students what they could do with a specific major, we ask lots and lots of questions. Lots and lots of questions. So this is my favorite part of the work that we do, and I think this model demonstrates it very well. So we help you begin to understand yourself and how your values and priorities and skills and even personality might impact the choices that you make at Dickinson and beyond. In conjunction with your values, skills, and personalities, your academic choices will help our team guide you to future opportunities that represent a really good fit. That sweet spot where personality, skills, values, and priorities intersect is what we have talked about already, which is authentic interest. Again, that sweet spot where personality, skills, values, and priorities intersect is authentic interest in our model. As you know by now, our team works with every incoming first-year student the summer before you get here. You all went through summer advising. We guide hundreds of seniors to successful launch every spring, and in the years that lie between, our knowledge of how our academic program, our campus, and the wider world all fit together gives you the opportunities that will allow you to enrich your college experience and prepare you for whatever's ahead. So what does this look like in action? So if you see the model, it's really centered on helping students and identify and pursue those authentic interests. Assess, explore, experience, launch. Assess, explore, experience, launch. You'll note that reflect and decide is at the core of this model. And we believe that that's absolutely a key component in helping you make your decisions about which direction that you want to go in. Whether you're choosing courses or a major or an internship or your first job, or as alums choosing to change jobs or careers, the process of planning your next move is going to involve the exact same foundational skills. So again, assess, explore, experience, launch, and I think that actually gets us to a really great point where Annie can pick us up from there.
Sure. So I'm Annie Condis. I am the Dean and Director of Employer Relations and Career Development here at Dickinson. So I'm really what Damon was talking about, the person that's really taking in information from the outside and kind of assessing what are some of those skills that you need in order to be the most successful in your launch. And so what this slide really indicates to you is that any major that you choose, whatever you decide to pursue academically, you can launch into as many careers as you want. I put up two examples, the CEO of LO Bean, Steve Smith, who's a board trustee member and alum of Dickinson, as well as Lauren Ashley Smith, who is a writer and producer. Both majors are liberal arts in nature, really help learn some skills that are needed to launch into any job, but then also continue to pursue different opportunities as you grow. Most people change their careers anywhere from 7 to 10 times in their life, and that's not job, that's career. And so it's really important that whatever you do launch into, that's just your first opportunity. That's what you're doing right now, but that there will be many more launches after that for you to pivot and shift. And so you can see on this graph here how many different majors launch into different things on their first, and then they launch into different things on their second. And you will use the skills that you learn at Dickinson through our center as well as through your classes to really push you and learn how to do that well. Tara, next slide. So when we talk about career readiness, we really look at what employers are saying that they want. And we try to map our curriculum, both in the classroom as well as outside the classroom, to what are the skills that employers are looking for. I will tell you, these skills do change and shift from year to year, and we do our best to keep up with them as we grow and shift and change as a college. And so you'll see here that when we surveyed our employers that we work with the National Association of Colleges and Employers, the most commonly desired skills by employers are these over here. So critical thinking, problem solving, written communication, leadership, digital technology, global influence, and career management, which career management is exactly that, knowing what your skills are, knowing what you're good at, and being able to move and pivot into other opportunities. So when we're really helping you along and looking at the skills that you're gaining from the major, we're talking you through and working with you on how you're developing these skills so that you can talk to employers about everything you're getting while you're here at Dickinson. I'm going to pass it over to Amity Fox now.
Thanks, Annie. As Annie mentioned, my name is Amity Fox, and I am the Dean and Director of Internships and Fellowships. And I get to talk to you about some of the things that we do and how we deploy the mission that we have in our center. So as all of my colleagues have mentioned, we offer so many resources and services. It goes beyond just a resume or a job search for the senior year. We're here to support you all 4 years. Our center does this through workshops, through group programs, networking opportunities with alumni and employers, guest speakers, professional and graduate school advising, and the one-on-one appointments. We're dedicated to continuous improvement and professional development, supporting the group, the social, and the individual learning, and equipping students with the tools to help them articulate all of the skills and knowledge they're building during their time at Dickinson and afterwards. Next slide, please. So we support a comprehensive model that encourages students to apply this useful Dickinson education through experiential learning, like internships, research, all things that involve intentional reflection, building connections with others, and gaining meaningful experiences inside and outside of the classroom. In recent years, our graduates, about 90% of them, have pursued internships or research experiences while they were students. This allowed them to directly apply the knowledge that they had in the classroom in this workplace or in this professional atmosphere. And then they come back into the classroom as students and apply the professional experience to their coursework. We empower students to move through the 4-year pathway, to create tangible action plans, to explore the world of work, and to launch their individualized searches for opportunities along the way. We offer a vast database of internships, research, fellowship, and job postings, and tools to connect with alumni through networking platforms. When students secure internships, they can enroll in our internship program or apply for an internship grant. They receive personalized support as they reflect on the experience, evaluate their progress, and articulate their goals, whatever they may be and however they may change in the 4 years. But how do we do this? Here I'm going to turn it back to my colleague Annie to talk about being career ready for launch.
Sure. So thank you, Amity. So the thing about being career ready is what we really stress here is that there's 2 sides to the coin with being career ready. And I'd really like you to think about this right now. There's knowing what your interests are, there's knowing your personality, there's knowing your desires, what you want out of work, and that is super important. And that's where we reflect with you and talk with you about what might you want to do. Because when you get the question in an interview, why do you want this position? You need to be able to answer that, and you need to be able to answer that well. And that's really important, that you know yourself, you know what you want to do, and you know what you're going for, and that you're passionate about it. But on the flip side, there's this other side of career readiness that's really important. That includes things like writing a resume, developing the skills needed to be able to write a cover letter, writing your LinkedIn profile, learning how to network, learning basic professionalism or how to conduct an interview, or even how to conduct an interview at a meal. You know, these are all skills that are important, and maybe you have some of these tools already and you've done some of these things in your high school, and maybe you haven't had an opportunity, but that's what we're working with you over the 4 years to do that. Next slide, please, Tara. So how do we do that? There's a lot, right? You saw that checklist. There's a lot of stuff to do. And so we want to make it easy for you. We break it down for you. And we really think that if you stay on track and follow our 4-year pathway, you'll be at a place your senior year where you're ready to launch into a full-time opportunity, graduate school, a fellowship, or an internship opportunity, whatever you want to pursue after graduation. And so this is a snippet from our first year, which is our first year pathways. And so each year we have sort of a list of things that you must do. And we really toyed with this language. Should we tell people they must do it? And the reality is, if you want to be ready to launch, you have to do these things. One of them is creating a handshake, activating Handshake. Handshake is our platform where you will have all your both on-campus and off-campus opportunities, job and internships. It's where you can make appointments with our team. It's where you can see all of our program events. It's where you can get looped into all the career fairs that we're promoting or partnering in. So being active in Handshake and setting up a profile is really important to being connected into the career community that we're trying to encourage. And then secondly, in the first year is creating a resume and getting that started as a working live document that you will be updating throughout your 4 years. And so those are the things you must do. Now, Tara, if you can go to the next slide. But we don't like to leave you with, these are the only things you can do. So we also in each year provide you with some optional things to get ahead. Some of you already have resumes, and that's wonderful. And if you don't, we have opportunities to teach you how to do that. Most of you don't have Handshake accounts yet unless you're really early in getting into our system. But we would also encourage you to explore majors, do some self-assessing, do career research, apply for opportunities and experiences. And these are things that you can do if you want to get ahead. And so we give those options for you as well. But definitely we want you to focus on making sure you're hitting those benchmarks during each year so that you're ready. And I will say down at the bottom, all those pathways are on our website. So I don't know if I think this program will be sent out to you, and also an email follow-up where you can click on those to see them. Thank you.
Great. So I think it's back to me, is that right? Okay, back to me to talk a little bit more about the role of our team and the role of the launch technician. We are tracking questions as they come in, and we're going to leave time for Q&A. We also, believe it or not, because actually I believe it, knowing Dickinson students, we got lots of questions before we started by email, and we'll do our best to start answering today and then follow up with you as we move forward. So the launch technician and our program. You should conceive of us as a team. And so if I'm your launch technician and you want your first contact with our center to be with me, you can absolutely do that, but it's not necessary or recommended. As I've said, I strongly recommend group programming whenever possible. But no matter how you start, over time, you should connect with and get to know everybody on our team. And the reason is that in part, we have different perspectives, even though we all do coordinate and work closely together, but also because we have different areas of specialty. And so if you arrive with maybe no clear idea yet about what the world of work might hold for you, and you haven't really given it much thought, that's fine. Over time, as you explore different possibilities and learn more, you may want to talk with different specialists on our team. Likewise, if you arrive with a very clear goal of, let's say, moving into medicine or a health-related field, and then end up making a hard pivot, maybe in your sophomore or junior year, towards something more business-oriented. Because we specialize, we'll be able to work with you as a team, and you'll get more from approaching us as a team than you do by focusing only on building one relationship with us. So the role of the launch technician is going to be to guide you through our 4-year curriculum. And yes, I can answer one of the questions that came in. It is possible to accelerate your progress through our pathways, and you can finish 4 in 3 years, or even faster if you want. But we'll work with you to make sure that you progress through our curriculum, and we'll do that by following up with you, tracking your progress, sending you messages, encouraging you to participate in programs and opportunities. And as we get to know you over time, we'll be able to suggest them to you on our knowledge of your individual interests and priorities. So you may hear from me if I'm your launch technician. You may hear from our team, or you may hear from a different individual member of our team, because we do share notes and pool resources. Ultimately, the goal of the launch technician is to help you launch and to make the process as fun and easy as possible for you. And again, I'll just say, if you're just getting started and the prospect of thinking about 4 years from now when you graduate, before you've even started, is overwhelming or unwelcome, that's perfectly fine, right? In fact, some students choose not to get heavily involved in career development early on. We do encourage you to at least keep up with our curriculum, because it is complicated, and a 4-year process will position you best. But really what you should just remember is our launch technicians and our launch technician team is here for you. We're agnostic in terms of your desired outcomes. We're ready to support you no matter what you decide that you want to do. Our goal is just that you have the opportunity to maximize your choice throughout your career at Dickinson and beyond. Okay, I think we are ready to do some quick introductions, because we had a crowded panel filled with creative and talented people, not all of whom have had a chance to talk yet. So I meant to introduce myself and just tell you a quick fun fact about campus. And we really can't wait for you to join us here in Carlisle. It is fun from this side to imagine you wherever you are, but we're really looking forward to welcoming you here. So my name's Damon Yarnell. I am the executive director of our center, and one of my favorite places on campus is actually off campus. It's the Forbes path near the athletic fields, where not only is there a running path where you'll find me every day, but also a single track mountain bike path where you will see me riding slowly and cautiously a couple of times a week.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jennifer Clough, and you can call me Jen or Jennifer. Welcome to Dickinson. I am a career and experiential learning advisor. And one of my favorite places that I really can't wait for you to see is Rubendell Recital Hall. And the reason that's one of my favorite places is, well, first of all, it's a wonderful place to hear music. And the music department does a lunchtime concert series. So a few times a semester, it's just an incredible getaway.
Apologies, I think that's me. Hi, again, I'm Tara Fisher, Dean and Director of Academic Advising. I'm a Dickinson grad, and so I'd say my favorite place is probably the steps of Old West, which hopefully some of you have seen. This is a picture of me walking down those steps when I graduated from Dickinson, and A couple of years after that, I married a Dickinson alum as well on those steps. So those steps are pretty special to me. Can't wait to get to work with you. Welcome.
Tara, you stole mine. So I'm, again, Amity, Dean and Director of Internships and Fellowships, also a Dickinson alum, also married to a Dickinson alum. So Old West was definitely my top 3 places on campus. I think my second would be the big window seats in the library, especially now that they've got little trays that you can pull over and just kind of get cozy in the window and really immerse yourself in your studies.
Hi everybody, my name is Laura Kilco. I graduated from Dickinson in 2001 and I am an associate director and a pre-law advisor. Like Tara and Amity, I was also married at Dickinson, so that's where my special place comes from. However, I did not marry a Dickinsonian, unfortunately. So I was actually married in what's called the Stern Great Room, which is a beautiful space on campus that has these really gorgeous vaulted wooden ceiling and beautiful stained glass. And I do have a very old picture here of it. You can't really see the beautiful woodwork, but it was a nice place to get married. So the other thing I really like about the Stern Great Room and the Stern Center in and of itself is that there are great pictures in there of all of the global opportunities that are available to our students and the really neat places and experiences our students have gone. And from a personal standpoint, I like to envision my 2 children as future Dickinsonians and getting to embark on those really fun experiences too. So.
Okay, I'm Annie Condas. Like I said before, I'm Dean and Director of Employer Relations and Career Development. I am not a Dickinson alum, and I did not marry a Dickinson alum or get married at Dickinson. So I am the different one, I guess, on campus. But you will see me around because I'm obsessed with coffee. I get coffee on campus and off campus 2 to 3 times a day. I shouldn't admit that, but a lot. And I like to get up and walk and leave my office and talk to people. So my favorite spot on Dickinson is the Quarry, which is our on-campus coffee shop, where you will frequently see me on breaks. And then I also take a walk up to Square Bean, which is our town's coffee shop, a lot. So those are my 2 favorite places on and around campus.
Hi everyone, welcome to Dickinson. I'm Debbie Swarner. I did not go to Dickinson or marry a Dickinsonian. However, I did grow up at Dickinson. So I studied in the library as a high school student, and then I had to go away to college. But it was great to come back a number of years ago, and I've been working in the center as an associate director, working with the career counseling side, and also I serve as the pre-health professions advisor for those of you interested in entering the healthcare professions, including medicine. One of my favorite things about the Dickinson campus is what's behind me, our beautiful trees and the way students study outside. I can't wait for you to see them in the spring when the blossoms are out, and it's just a beautiful environment where students are enjoying the warm weather and also a chance to study outside and have class outside too. So I hope that you soon get to enjoy that and want to welcome you to Dickinson's campus in just hopefully a few short months. But I'm excited to work with you remotely this semester.
Thank you, everyone. So I hope that our eagerness to connect with you and to get to know you is evident. Earlier this afternoon, sent out a message to your Dickinson email that gave you the name of the person who's going to be working as your launch technician. I also introduced just very broadly the concept of working with our team, because as you can see and hear from our introductions, very much our team. But now this is where you come in. Okay, so remember, we said there were 2 critical first steps. Actually, I don't know if we said that, but there are 2 critical first steps for you to do during the time that you are a first year. And that is demonstrated by the little kind of cutout on the right-hand side of the screen. we have begun to break that up into even, I guess, more manageable pieces for you right now. So what we would like for you to do first is to complete our Beyond the File very, very brief questionnaire, we'll call it. And that gives us a really great starting point for how to work with you and what types of things you might be interested in. Also some really great conversation starters based upon the information that you provide to us. And hopefully it will be a really helpful step for you from a reflective standpoint to think about some of the things that are being asked on that. So your job is to complete that questionnaire. And then your second job is going to be activating your Handshake account and submitting a resume through that. If you are not really sure how to get started or would like to begin to take advantage of some of the group programming that we offer, as you can see, there's some workshops within the next few weeks that are right ahead. And we also can work with you around if for some reason those times aren't good for time zone differences or whatever it might be. Please know our team is very much eager and flexible and willing to work with you. So with that, I am going to stop for just a moment and turn this over to Dean Fox, who I believe is going to facilitate some questions.
We've been answering a number of the questions in the chat box in the Q&A area. So some of the questions were related to internships and timing, and is there a deadline for when you can do an internship, or can I do an internship as early as my first year? And the answer really depends on you and where you feel that you are, where you're ready to pursue that type of internship experience. Whether it's in your first year, your sophomore year, multiple years, we will be happy to work with you as you search for those experiences and as you pursue them. And then as you process and think about why did I do this? What does it mean for me? And how will it impact my next steps? To really reflect on that experience. There was also a question about where do we find the Beyond the File survey? So that's linked right there on the slide. It is a tiny URL, and I will include that in the Q&A, the direct link.
We'll also email that to you. Any other questions that came up we'd like to address as a group?
I think, Annie, if you want to take the one question that's in the Q&A, is there a deadline for signing up for Handshake? And how will that work with the fluctuating campus protocols?
Sure. So Handshake is a system and a program that you will use throughout your 4 years and can use as an alum. So you have 100% access to our system for as long as you want it, need it. So whether or not you sign up tomorrow, which would be great if you did, because then you can kind of explore it and see it and make appointments with us, see what programs we're offering, that'd be great. But if you don't feel ready or you want to get set with your academic coursework and maybe come back in November and sign up, you can. Or wait until January, that's fine too. The system is available to you. It's through Gateway, so you will have access to it for your entire 4 years.
Thanks, Annie. Tara, this question is for you. Will the presentation be available to us after the session?
Yes, absolutely. The presentation will be available, and also I'll make sure that I call out specifically the tiny URL for the survey, right on the file survey, as well as some of the workshops that are coming up. So stay tuned. I believe, Dean Yarnell, did you have a question?
I did. I wanted to address one of the email questions that we got earlier, which was about how our team works with academic faculty advisors. And I think Tara touched on this earlier in the presentation, but you're meeting a lot of new people with different roles around campus. So as Tara said, defining your intellectual or academic interests is an important part of your overall education here at Dickinson. And I put it first. What do you want to study and why, and what courses should I take? Those are really important and in many cases personal questions to answer. And the very best people to help you with those questions are our professors and especially your faculty advisor. And so if you have questions about majors and courses and academic strengths and maybe programs you haven't heard of, I had never heard of American Studies before I went to college. I never got to take an anthropology course when I was in high school. So if you have questions like that, your academic advisor and your professors are the very best place to go. When we work with students and if academic questions arise, because although major doesn't determine career, sometimes issues overlap, we're always going to let your academic advisor know what we talked about. And when it comes to your path through the academic curriculum, we're going to defer to your advisor. So we work as a team, and we work in close collaboration, but we do have different roles. And likewise, I would say if you talk to your professors about your career interests, when you decide to start talking about career interests, I'd encourage you to come talk to us too, because we have knowledge and experience that they may not have. Great. Well, have we covered everything?
I believe so. Again, I'll send out a message later this afternoon that will include all the information that we just talked about, as well as next steps. I know it's a lot in the next few days that's happening for you, and we're really excited to encourage you through it and to help you make meaning of this whole experience.
Excellent. So maybe we can give a collective welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Welcome all.
Yeah, take care.